Hello, it's presented by Discraft. I'm your host, Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, joined by our tournament director, Jeff Spring. And Jeff, they've now seen each course once, and what do we have to look forward to?
Well, we have a beautiful day to look forward to, Terry. Another great Vermont day. The weather is sunny, the wind is down, scoring conditions are up, and I think we're going to see another card of hot scores.
Well, we saw a couple of course records not only broken, but then reset later on in the day. It's been very exciting out here at Brewster Ridge. We have Ricky Wysocki, who is a four-time champion at this event, but right now Nate Doss has a three-stroke advantage. Again, halfway point. Dare I ask, do you have any predictions?
Well, the top two are what everyone's focus is on. Ricky's a five-time champ. Nate has a three-stroke advantage. What's going to happen there? I don't anticipate anyone running away with it. I think it's going to be determined tomorrow on Fox Run, but we've got Cale, we've got Michael Joe sitting right behind Ricky, and I'd look for one of them to make a move. And then the chase card's already out there on the course, and they're ready to do good things too. So it's really going to depend on if Nate throws that hot, low round to keep that lead. It's looking that way, but I think we're going to see a lot of movement, and I'm excited to see what is going to happen going into tomorrow out on the open Fox Run.
I'm excited as well. I know Eric Oakley, as I caught up with him, he said, man, just a few putts off yesterday. If he gets that putter back on track like he had it in the opening round, he may fight himself back to the leader card, and we've got a lot of great contenders here. So for Jeff and Terry, the Disc Golf Guy, we're going to get to hole one action right here at Brewster Ridge. You're watching live disc golf on the Disc Golf Pro Tour and the Green Mountain Championships. And Jeff, they are getting their names called off in just a moment here. Looking forward to a very exciting day. The weather forecast is looking great, and we'll see if Nate Doss can keep that momentum. That's usually Ricky Wysocki's word. We'll see if Doss can keep that momentum rolling this weekend.
Yeah, and it's usually Ricky Wysocki on the tee on a lead card like this, leading the way, but Nate's been playing unbelievable. You know, Terry, hole one is so important. It's really gettable, and it can set the tone for the entire day.
And a great turnover shot here by Nate Doss. That's a TI buzz. A little later in the round, we'll have each of our players talk about the discs that they're mainly throwing here on this course. And Ricky Wysocki will be second to tee again, sitting right now with a three-stroke deficit. And Ricky's forehand is on that left side. Is that going to skip enough to get to the pin?
It did skip a little. It didn't work its way right, Terry. So he may have a little low ceiling on a birdie putt right around circle's edge.
And we know we're going to see a backhand out of Cale Leiviska. That is his bread and butter shot. Not sure he packs a forehand for lunch, actually.
Yeah, it's his M4, and it's working to the right. He got it just inside that guardian tree, and he's going to be right around where Ricky Wysocki ended up, about circle's edge putt.
And another Discraft representative here, Michael Joe, still on the lead card. Saw him yesterday at the Fox Run Meadows course.
This looks like it's working back a little bit more than Cale's. Oh, and that's going to be very close. A great shot from Michael Joe.
All right, we're going to watch our lead card move down the fairway. Of course, we have leader card action from the women from earlier today. Thanks to Chad and Steve Dodge. Let's get to the women at Fox Run Meadows earlier this morning.
Welcome to round 3 at the Green Mountain Championship presented by Discraft. It's a beautiful day, and we have Sarah Hokom on the tee of hole 1. She puts that off to the right. She will have a very long approach. This is a gettable par 4. You want to go straight through those two trees. Oh, Paige is fading off early. That kicks left. She goes OB on the first hole. She's going to be struggling for a par. Here is her second shot, which fades off a little left. She's left with about 40 feet to save her par. Here's Catrina Allen's second shot. Valarie Jenkins also went OB off the tee. Sarah Hokom, who started in the lead, might be building a bigger lead. Valarie Jenkins misses her par. Paige Pierce for par way off to the right. That leaves Sarah Hokom for birdie and a two-stroke swing on Paige Pierce. Counted. A beautiful putt by Sarah Hokom. We are moving on to hole 2. Her lead.
And with the low-hanging branches of the tree next to the basket, Ricky's line was somewhat impeded. It looks like Cale's just a few steps in front of him. Cale's in from 28 feet. Starting off the round great with a birdie 2 here on hole number 1. Great way to start your round with a little 10-foot tap in. Michael Joe's got the same.
Yeah, interesting start here. Ricky got unlucky. Competitors know this left side is guarded by that tree, but looks like Nate has already moved his lead to 4 after 1 hole.
Very impressive. We're going to listen to a word from our sponsors, and we'll see you on the tee of hole 2.
Achieving greatness requires hundreds of days of preparation, which is why the people at Vibram have worked for over 3 years to make their first ever distance driver the longest and straightest in the game. Introducing the new Vibram Lace, helping you achieve your greatness.
Sun King Discs, established in 2001. Florida's most respected name in disc sports. Official retail merchandiser of the Disc Golf Pro Tour. Currently on tour supporting Discraft and DGA live inventory, free shipping at $12. All orders $19.99, ships in a box, includes single discs, large selection of both stock and collectibles. Check out the website at www.sunkingdiscs.com.
For me, it's time with my friends.
For me, it's a walk in the park.
For me, it's my job.
For me, it's fun.
And welcome back to the tee of hole number 2.
It's left. He's hit a tree, he's knocked down, and he's not in a terrible spot, but looks like he's got a lot of work to do for his par.
And Cale gets up and fires very quickly, going with the M4 right up the middle. Even with the kick, that should work for him. Center fairway. MJ pushing that left side. He'd love it to trickle right, but it does the opposite.
That one's up the right side, but it's a little too far right from Rick. He gets a okay kick. He's going to be in the little lane on the right of the tree line.
We're going to move up the fairway. We'll get to our women's coverage after we watch Nate Doss throw his second shot. So in the meantime, we're going to move down the fairway with you. This was one of the few blemishes we saw by Ricky Wysocki during the opening round. He had hit a tree on the left side that carried right and out over the OB wall to the right. He ultimately walked away with a bogey 5 here on his second hole of the tournament. And Doss was pinched up on the left side, but throws a great recovery shot into the center of the fairway. Let's see how the women did on hole 2 at Fox Meadow Run.
We advance to hole 2, a 270-foot par 3 with OB lining the right-hand side of the fairway. Last year this was a gettable birdie. This year it is a difficult birdie with the elevated basket. That is a nice drive by Sarah Hokom, comes up about 30 feet short. You want to be well within circle 1 to have a good look at the birdie putt. Paige Pierce will most likely not have a look at that birdie putt. Valarie Jenkins, that is fading off left. She will also probably be laying up. Here's Catrina's second shot after kicking off a tree and going right. She wants that to settle. It does just fine. Paige Pierce lays up. There's plenty of golf to play yet. No need to make this run. Sarah Hokom going for the birdie. Cage right. She maintains her lead of 3 over Pierce. Jessica Weiss gets the birdie and gains a stroke.
And Michael Joe with his second shot. It skips into the main lane and on the left side. He should be able to get up and in for a par with relative ease from there, Terry.
Next to throw will be Kale Leiviska after throwing his mid-range straight up the middle here on the second hole tee shot.
Yeah, that's right, and he's in the best position in the group. You still want to be up a little bit further. Hole 2 is traditionally the hardest hole in the course. Scoring average-wise, is playing as the second hardest this week. Let's see if Kale can get something that resembles a birdie look. Now, when he hits on the right side and kicked around where Michael Joe's disc landed, so he should be able to get up and in for his par without too much of an issue. As the crowd gets closer, we're going to see Ricky Wysocki throwing his second right on the OB line next.
I had mentioned Ricky Wysocki threw OB during the opening round, and where he had gone out is exactly where he was throwing this shot from today. However, today he was inbounds, and it's looking like at best he's going to be trying to get up and down and save his par.
Yeah, he's probably just outside circle 2, so you never know with Rick, but he definitely traveled up the fairway enough to kind of not be too worried about his par save on this hole. But I think the big thing that we're looking at here is, can Nate get up and down and maybe not give away a stroke after a tough drive.
Great looking shot by Doss. Should be able to save the par. Looks like he's ready to play here today, Jeff.
Yeah, you know, there's always going to be some tree hits and mistakes out here, but it's all about how you can recover and scramble, Terry, and to save a par after a drive like that. You know, that second shot was unbelievable. Got him right back into the hole, and then he capitalized on that by parking it for his 4, and looks like he may have staved off losing a stroke here.
Cale throwing his third shot. He should have no problems from there. Leiviska and Michael Joe both still at 21 under par, along with Ricky Wysocki. Looked like a somewhat awkward attempt there by Michael Joe. I didn't see the full release, but I saw it kind of flailing. Did you see what was going on there?
Yeah, it looked like he had a little obstruction and it caught on his hand, and he is outside the circle, so he's got to make a putt here to save his par. But here's what I'm talking about. Ricky's just on the edge of circle 2, it looks like. And can he bang it?
And he almost wanted to run it down. He's going to put on his go-go raptor legs and run that one down, trying to convert from long range. Michael Joe, as you said, off on this right-hand side. He's looking at about 40, maybe 45 feet yet. A little bit more work than you were hoping for on the second hole.
Yeah, that's right, Terry. And I mean, if he puts this in, it looks like we're going to have a star par hole. And he does. And not going to be a lot of shifting and a lot of different routes to this 4, but it looks like all of our competitors should be able to clean up for their par at this point.
Cale with the par cleanup, and Doss will be doing the same here in a moment. Two down. We'll be back with you in a moment after a word from our sponsors. Jeff.
Flashlight LED disc golf discs just changed the game. The unique Disco Select feature allows everyone to choose their own color by simply pressing the middle button, then pressing it again during the first rotation of colors when the one you want appears. Or you can leave it in disco mode, rotating through the 6 different colors for the duration of your game. Designed by serious professionals, crafted from Night Eye's unrivaled sure grip material, and featuring Night Eye's patented fiber optics array, these discs strike the perfect balance of durability, stability, performance, and just plain awesomeness. With easily replaceable batteries and an uber-long life, the Flashlight driver, mid-range, and putter will shine as they blaze your path to victory, day or night. Night Eyes. Discover your solution. And great concentration by Nate Doss here on hole number 3. Finds himself just about at circle's edge. That's circle 1, in fact. Just before he was ready to tee off in the distance, we heard a car alarm going off. Cale with a lower approach is going to have a little bit better result. He's going to be no more than 22 feet from the pin. This hole is blind to the players, so they cannot see the pin from where they're throwing from.
And Michael Joe hugs the right side, brings it all the way up. Each player thus far has gotten closer and closer. We'll see if Ricky can ultimately walk away with the closest to the pin here. That's fading slightly left, however, that's a good-looking shot. And gets a kick off a rock, that'll help him. Let's see how the women did earlier on hole 3 at Fox Meadow Run.
Thank you, Terry. We advance to hole 3 on the women's side. This is a 305-foot par 3. The entire right side is lined with OB. Sarah plays a good safe shot that hooks a little left. She will have a pretty good look at up and down to get the par. Catrina Allen plays very safe, gets about pin high. She's got about 35 to 40 feet for the birdie. Paige Pierce does not quite come through on that. That kicks left. She is in Yuck City off to the left. I think Yuck City is not located in Vermont based on how beautiful it is here. Valarie Jenkins also hits an early tree. Paige pitches out and will have a tough putt for par. Valarie is close enough. That's a par for Valarie. Sarah Hokom, par City, and Paige for par. A good run, but off to the right. And Catrina Allen for birdie, just over the top. Paige loses a stroke.
Doss's birdie attempt hits right side chain here on our Mach X. However, dips out to the right side and falls short. He may be the only par on this hole. Everyone else is relatively close.
Yeah, that looks like it may be the case, Terry. That one just slipped out the right side.
Kale's able to convert. We saw Michael Joe go to the right side of the tree here on the fairway. He's also about 18 feet from the pin. And Ricky, who came in nicely on the left side of the pin, got a little love from the rock kicking it back. Instead of the 20-footer, he's got the 5-footer. Doss will tap in. We're going to move on to hole number 4 after a word from our sponsors. Good. And Kale opts for the left side of the center tree here off the tee on hole number 4. Michael Joe going the same route out and around and gets a little more distance. He's going to have some more work on that right side, though.
Yes, he is, Terry. He's in a tough spot. He may be unable to access the green from there.
And Wysocki goes with the flex forehand here, and that looks to be a nearly perfect shot.
Yeah, that's position A, right in the middle of the fairway, looking up the gap at the basket, and that's the best of the three that we've seen. Let's see if Nate can put it somewhere close.
And like the previous backhands, he goes out and around to the left and pushes forward.
Yeah, Nate.
I hear the women are playing at Fox Run Meadows. Let's see how they're doing over there on hole 4.
We advance to hole 4, a 415-foot par 3. This is a very difficult par 3 for the ladies. Probably just outside of their range for all of them, except potentially Paige. Kat might be able to reach it, but she didn't really try to go for it. Rather be in control and make sure you get the 3. Paige Pierce, however, kaboom! She is going big and coming up a little bit short, but she will have by far the best birdie shot from about 70 feet, it looks like. Valarie Jenkins lays it under the basket. Catrina Allen, Park City. Sarah Hokom, off left a little bit, she can hit that putt. And Paige Pierce for birdie. There we go, moving on. That was quick and easy. No pain, no gain.
And Kale's second beats the inside of the lane and floats on up inside the circle. What a shot from Leiviska.
Jeff, you were talking about being a little bit obstructed here on this right side. It seems like the fairway is paramount here, and Michael Joe is going to experience a little bit of that obstruction.
Yeah, it's thick over there on the right side. We've done a lot of work to clean it out, make a secondary cut there, but it's still not a great accessible lane to the basket. He's going to have to work it back into the main lane and try to bend it around. It'd be pretty incredible to see him get it in the circle, because he is still, you know, probably about 275 feet away.
And a rare sighting. That is, in fact, a forehand here by Michael Joe. Executed very nicely.
Yeah, it was a safe play, Terry. He pitched it out. They'll have a long outside circle 2 jumper at that. And we'll probably see him run it with an uphill green. But here's Nate. He can't get in too many better positions than this. And he's going to try to attack this pin.
And with one of his, he tries to get that to bend around. However, there is a protective tree up there. Whenever you're looking at that rock wall, you really need to get past it if you're trying to convert on a putt. How far is that wall from the basket, Jeff?
You know, the wall's about 45 feet. It does have a bend in it, and you can get inside the circle if you're near the wall where it turns. But let's see what Ricky from even better position can do. He's going wide. And can he punch through? It does punch through around the tree that Nate hit, and it looks like he's in the circle. Looking to pick up another stroke on Doss and make this a 2-throw game.
It was last year we saw Ricky Wysocki throw one in for an eagle here on hole number 4. Looks like today he may have to settle at best for the birdie. but still very cleanly played here in this very tight fairway.
Johannsen for his 3. Wow, he gave it a great run. It was a long shot. He was far away, but he'll have to settle for his par. Let's see if the other 3 competitors can get up and in.
Doss has a tree to worry about, actually a couple of them, one in the foreground, one in the background there. It looks like he's carried it wide. He's going to be walking away with a par. Now, par's not a bad score here. You'd love to get the birdie, but when you're talking about such a difficult hole, walking away with a par is like, all right, I can handle that.
Yeah, Terry, this is one of the top 5 most difficult holes, and how Gail and Ricky played this was just picture perfect. So no shame in the 4. I think Nate may be feeling the pressure though, because we're down to a 2-stroke lead after he stretched it to 4. So the momentum shifting. He's going to have to find a way to bounce back as we go into a pretty easy stretch of the course with 3, 4, 5 birdie holes in a row where you can really get on a run.
Relatively short walk over to the next hole. We'll be back after a word from our sponsors. Looks like Cale may have slipped slightly, however that is fading nicely down toward the green. It's going to be short, but he'll have a look at a birdie putt from there. And Wysocki's forehand just gets inside the tree. That just long for Wysocki. It is pin high to the right, but just a bit long. And a great fade there by MJ. Looks to be about circle's edge. And Doss is also fading down and to the right.
Hold, let the spectators and cameras go.
We'll see how the women did earlier on Fox Run Meadows.
We advanced to hole 5. Not much movement so far on the women's side. Hole 5 will probably change that. 445 feet downhill onto a protected green. And that does not come back inbound. Sarah Hokom is OB on the drive here on hole 5. And Paige Pierce puts it way wide. She knew it instantly. She is also out of bounds. Here is her second shot. That looks good if it gets down. We can see the OB to the left, and it is OB as well. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Paige Pierce will be carding at best a circle, double circle 5. Sarah Hokom gets it down there. Valarie Jenkins with a great second shot around the hill. And Catrina Allen with another, also with a great second shot. Trouble for the leaders here on hole 5.
Here, huh?
A little too much power on the downhill putt by Leiviska. Just getting over the edge of the basket. Michael Joe's going to walk away with the birdie 2. Nate Doss is deep of the pin. Looks to be about circle's edge where we just saw both Kale and MJ throw from. Wysocki, however, no more than, well, we'll say a Wysocki away. And Doss's attempt is off the top of the basket. So we're going to see 2 pars and 2 birdies here on hole number 6. Correction, hole number 5. Kale will clean up, as will Doss. Hoping to see an ace possibly on the next hole, hole number 6. We're going to have a brief walk over there. Wysocki's going to be in for birdie. We'll see you on 6 after a word from our sponsors. Welcome back. Here we are on hole number 6, and this is the second shortest hole on the course, 225 feet. Does that sound about right, Jeff?
Yeah, that's right, Terry. It's elevated basket this year, and this is really a must-get birdie. This is a hole that almost underwent a change this year due to a redesign of the course. This most likely will be the last time it's played in competition. Little known fact. But it's been a fun hole, and it definitely has had its fair share of aces, so let's see if somebody can dial it up today.
And Ricky throwing his trusty harp, and that is just right of the pin. He's going to have no more than 15 feet. Michael Joe opts for a banger putter off the tee, also within 15 to 20 feet.
And Kale's looking good too, yeah. You know, the only danger is getting through this gapped area. It's a very big island. If you get through it, you're going to be probably within the circle. Let's see if Nate can make it 4 for 4.
And he's done just that. 4 great drives. We'll see how the women did earlier on hole 6 over at Fox Run Meadows.
Hole 6, 290-foot par 3, slightly uphill, OB to the right. You want to go to the left or right around that center tree, and Catrina Allen does it just right. That is a perfect shot. You can't see the pin, but it is right behind that bush. Catrina Allen starts us off well. Valarie Jenkins keeps it going. Very well done. We got 2 for 2, I'd say. Sarah Hokom, this is a natural forehand shot. She takes it and puts it right within 15 feet. And Paige Pierce now on the tee. She puts that. It's fading. That's fading a little too far to the right. That's going to be very close. The ladies measure, and she is, in fact, just out of bounds. Paige Pierce, 4 par. Splash left. Paige Pierce will be carding the bogey, while everybody else on the card gets the birdie. 2 quick strokes, goodbye. Moving on to hole 7.
And Doss had just one little branch to contend with. As you can see, the play here is to come up a little bit short. However, you don't have to log that too long. As Jeff said, this may be the last time we see this hole. And Ricky is in after MJ. We're going to see 4 for 4. 8 total shots here on hole number 6. That is a star frame for those keeping track at home or on UDisc Live. We'll be back with you after a few moments and a word from our sponsors.
Tempercraft USA. Double wall 18/8 stainless steel construction keeps it cold while you're hot, keeps it hot while you're cold. Get your customized growlers, tumblers, and sports bottles with a lifetime warranty and 1% back to the planet. Tempercraft USA. Temper your thirst.
Welcome back to hole number 7. We have caught up with our chase card, who is just clearing out on the green. This hole is a blind shot from the tee area. You cannot see the basket or the competitors that are down on the green of hole number 7. I'm going to get caught up on udisclive.com. Of course, follow along for all of the up-to-date stats and scores. One of the scores we're seeing is Nate Sexton, who's tearing it up today. He is 7 under through 8 holes and has currently moved up 6 positions on the leaderboard. Also having a good round is Greg Barsby, sitting at 6 under through 8 holes. Steve Brinster sits at 6 under through 9 holes. Morisaki finds himself inside the circle, just a bit long. And hitting the chips right next to the basket is Michael Joe's tee shot. And Kales was heading toward the right side of the fairway, I should say. Great looking shot by Dosk, heading toward the basket just a bit deep. We'll check in with the women on hole number 7 from earlier this morning.
Hole 7, over 1,100 foot par 5. We're going to give you an abbreviated version to get it in the less than minute and a half that we have. Catrina Allen puts out a fantastic drive, goes around the birches. She gets the green paddle. Paige Pierce, the biggest gun on the card. That thing keeps sailing and actually goes too far out of bounds. Paige Pierce, OB on the first shot on this 1,100 foot hole. Sarah Hokom, second shot, well placed. Sarah Hokom, third shot. Another great shot, assuming that can hook back in. It does. She'll have an easy up and down for the par. Valarie Jenkins, this is her third shot. She fires it low and it fades off right. It actually goes out of bounds as well. She'll be carding the bogey. Catrina Allen's third shot. Count it. She will card the easy par as well. Meanwhile, Paige Pierce just continued to have trouble as this disc sails OB. She ends up taking a triple circle 8, losing 3 strokes to the leaders.
And Kale's hyzer approach from just outside circle 2 was just past the basket from the angle in which I was standing. I thought that was easily going to come crashing into the chains. And knowing there was a card here on hole 7's green a few moments ago, I'm guessing we're going to have a little bit of a backup on hole 8, which is a par 4. And with that putt, Wysocki will momentarily move into a share of the lead at 26 under par. And just as I saw with Drew Gibson 2 days ago, from the exact same position, you had to be concerned with not only the rock, but also a little bit of mud. Doss will do the same. And Doss able to convert, so 3 great birdies here. Cale being left out of the birdie party. Oh, Cale sticks it. We're going to have a slight hold up on hole 8. We'll be back with you in a few moments after a word from our sponsors.
For me, it's time with my friends.
For me, it's a walk in the park.
For me, it's my job.
For me, it's fun.
And welcome back, everyone. We are caught up to our chase card here on hole number 8.
What's happened?
This is really ultimately a 2-shot hole. You must navigate down a tunnel, find the landing zone, and then your second shot will essentially be a tunnel shot as well up to the green. As we're doing that, I'd like to thank Jeff Spring, our tournament director, also our tournament director of the 2018 PDGA Professional World Championships taking place here at Smugglers Notch Resort next year. Jeff had to run off and do some other TD duties. We're going to have none other than Dana Vici join us here shortly. He'll be helping with some commentary. And as the second card continues to throw their shots, it looks like our lead card might be getting ready. Ricky, are you ready to throw?
I'm always ready.
Ricky's always ready, he says. All right, looks like we can get in position to do just that. And Waisaki's backhand is fighting right over to the landing zone. It's even a little further left than one might expect to get. And a near perfect shot as well by Michael Joe. It hits a tree, but I'm not sure that's going to be detrimental whatsoever. And Kale with one of the rare driver shots that he throws out here. That's an X3. We'll check in with the women from earlier on hole 8.
We approach hole 8, the 550-foot par 4, with Sarah Hokom having a 4-stroke lead over Catrina Allen. This hole has OB lining the entire left and right side. It's basically an S shape, and Catrina Allen has trouble navigating that first turn. This is Valarie Jenkins' second shot, and that is a nice shot. She puts herself very safe in position to go up and down. Paige Pierce running it over the OB, hitting the cage and rolling out of bounds. That was an amazingly tough break for Paige Pierce. That would have turned things around very nicely after that triple bogey on the previous hole. So anyway, here we go back to the action. Sarah Hokom cards the birdie. Paige Pierce had a shot at eagle, ends up with a par, ends up losing a stroke. Catrina Allen loses 2. We are moving on to 9.
What a standstill shot by Nate Doss. It's a forehand tracking over toward the alleyway. He'll be able to get up and down and save a par from there. We're going to gingerly move down this fairway over to the landing zone for the other 3 competitors. Again, you must put yourself in position on the tee shot here to the landing zone we're about to approach if you want to try and get up and down to take the birdie here. Nate's recovery shot, however, was very impressive. And a great second kick by MJ that was heading way right. The second kick brought him back toward the fairway. He should be able to get up and down from there. And Ricky had to adjust his footing, but it looks like that will pay off just fine. However, seems to be a little bit frustrated with the result there. MJ will be throwing next. MJ originally hit a tree that carried him to the right, hit another tree that bounced him back to the left. sounds as if Ricky's shot did the exact same thing we saw in the opening round. After putting it right next to the basket, getting up and rolling on him. If you go back and watch the coverage I just released last night, you'll see the opening round featuring Nate Sexton, along with Drew Gibson, Ricky Wysocki. You'll see the exact same situation happening on opening round on Wednesday. And Nate hits near the basket. However, it looks like he'll be able to save a par. And if I failed to mention also Simon Lizotte on that card that I had released earlier. It is all available on the Disc Golf Guy channel. And Wysocki knew it about halfway in. He stuttered for a second and said, yeah, I'm going to run after that. What a great putt by Ricky Wysocki for the birdie. And Cale with a textbook 3 for birdie. Doss manages the par. All right, we've seen the front 8 here. Let's check in with a few of our players to see what they've been throwing thus far this round. We'll be back with you after a word from our sponsors and a quick in the bag with a few of our leader card participants. And Wysocki.
It's much more wooded. I'm going to talk about the 3 main discs I'm going to use. Really, it's just one disc, all wrapped into one. It's the Buzz. I got 3 of them here. I got the Nate Doss Tour Series Buzz, Z Buzz, brand new, a little bit more overstable. I got my Glow Buzz. This is my straight one. This is pretty much my workhorse out here for this tournament. And then got the good old trusty titanium Nate Doss Buzz as well. This is a little bit more of a flippy one. This one will go to the right. But it's a combination of 3 buzzes out here today. A few other discs in there, of course, but for the most part, it's keep it straight, keep it going up the fairway, put it near the pins, and make some putts. So here we go.
Hi, Ricky Wysocki out here at the Brewster Ridge course for the 2017 GMC Championship. I'm going to talk about my 4 most used discs out here in the tightly wooded Fox Run course, or Brewster Ridge course, sorry. So, started off with what all you guys know is my go-to money maker, the Dagger. This is the new swirly plastic burst, hard plastic. This is going to be how I'm going to finish off a lot of my birdies out here. So, purple burst Dagger, and the red harp. This is the famous Utah Ace harp. This one's nice and straight. It's gotten beaten in since the Utah Open Ace. And this one's going to be thrown a lot for a lot of sidearm approach shots out here in the tight woods. And then a little bit longer range is my Lucid Felon. This one's really controllable, really controlled in the woods for me. Goes a little bit farther than my Felon. So I'm going to be using this as a utility disc out here a lot. And then for my backhand approach disc and off the tee, nice and straight tunnel shots is the Gold Line Pure. Very straight, very predictable, reliable in those tight tunnel putter off the tee shots. And those are my 4 most used discs. Thank you guys. Thanks Latitude 64 for making great products, and let's see how I do out here at the Brewster Ridge course.
And Wysocki with a clean forehand up the middle on this 205-foot hole number 9. Clean backhand shot here by Cale. Successful drive by Michael Joe.
Get in there.
And a great shot by Doss. All right, we're moving up the fairway here on hole 9. Let's check in with the women.
So Sarah Hokom's lead is now 6. I wouldn't say this thing's over, but I would say these other players want to close this gap as soon as possible. There's only a round and a half left. We are on hole 9 in round 3. Sarah Hokom throws that one OB. Valarie Jenkins puts that well out there, just in bounds. The fairway tucks a little left, has a little bulge off to the left, which Valarie does use, and Paige Pierce also uses. Just tucked in behind the rock, and Catrina Allen, straight as a string, right down the fairway. A beautiful shot by Catrina Allen. This is Sarah Hokom's 3rd shot after going OB. She puts that quite a bit past. She's actually got about 30 feet for bogey. Valarie Jenkins for birdie, just off. Paige Pierce's birdie putt misses as well. They both gain 1 stroke, and we're moving on to 10.
And first to card the birdie here on hole 9, Michael Joe. Our lead card making very quick and easy work here of hole number 9. And with that, we'll be moving over to the tee of 10. May catch up with the chase card there. We're moving on to the second half right here on the Disc Golf Pro Tour at the Green Mountain Championships presented by Discraft. We'll see you in a moment.
Disc Golf Center has moved to beautiful DeBerry, Florida, just down the road from the River City Nature Park Disc Golf Course. If you're in the neighborhood, come by and check out our spacious showroom and storefront. You'll have direct access to our live inventory of over 20,000 discs, so you can get exactly the weight and color you're looking for. Visit DiscGolfCenter.com, the world's largest disc golf store.
Chad. And welcome back here to hole number 10. Looks as if we've caught up with our chase card as they're on the green of this downhill shot from a distance. I believe I see Grady Shue converting on a solid putt. If any of you thought about busting into some Bette Midler, once I mentioned from a distance, that's okay with me. I don't judge. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you're a little too young. And Eric Oakley with a solid putt. Eric, as I mentioned earlier, had a little frustration on the greens during the latter half of the course yesterday. Paul Ulibarri, shout out to Paul's mom and family who are probably watching some of the action. And our chase card is clearing off the green. And in just a moment, after everyone carded birdies on 9, we'll have our lead card with Ricky on the tee. And also joining me now for the remainder of the afternoon is going to be Dana Vici. Dana, did you shoot another course record today?
No, but I did hit 100% of my fairways today, so I threw the disc pretty well.
Very nice. Well, we got some great action. Looks like Ricky's ready to go on the tee of 10. Trying to stay clean. He gets caught up by the tree. I see him switching up his game plan. On Wednesday's opening round, he went with a forehand. Or correction, it was a backhand. It just tailed far right.
And that's Cal with his M4 that he loves to throw. Fades off just a little bit left. He's going to have a look at birdie.
And Michael Joe going with a TI Comet from the Ledgestone tournament a few years ago. That's also tailing right. And Doss spoke of his glow buzz being the straight one. Unfortunately, it looks like he's put too much anhyzer on it. He'll have a putt from the right side. Let's see how the women did earlier on hole 10.
So with that little slip, Sarah Hokom's lead is cut to 5. We approach hole 10, a 295-foot par 3. OB lines the right-hand side, which Valarie is flirting with. Cuts back out. She's got about 25 feet for birdie. Paige Pierce puts it plenty wide. A great pan by Chad. Look at that disc come right in just past the basket. A great shot by Paige Pierce. Catrina Allen puts that a little flatter, and that disc just walks to the right. What an amazing flight by Catrina Allen. Pins it. And Sarah Hokom, again, another natural flick hole. She puts it down perfectly, 15 feet short. This for a star frame. Count it. Everybody's birding. Birding? Birding.
Johnny coming back quick. And from about 75 feet downhill, Ricky's able to give it a run. Ricky's going to move off of this Brewster Ridge course this weekend without birdieing hole 10 either round.
Yeah, this is one of those holes that it's right there in front of you. There's a nice little downhill grade, but this is a must birdie, and it's really clean. It's one of the cleanest fairways that we're going to see out here, and to miss it 2 times definitely hurts, and unfortunately I know how Rick feels.
And I'll go ahead and follow that up and say, the other day I noticed all 4 of our competitors during the opening round, including Leisaki, not able to convert. MJ with that beautiful ringer putter just outside circle 1. What confidence.
Yeah, What a great putting stroke. Now MJ looking to see who's out next. Looks like Doss is up with the circle's edge putt. Just inside the circle, that is.
And like we saw on hole number 6, Doss throws a pretty good shot, however still has a little tree action to contend with. This time he takes a knee and converts on the birdie. Solid putt by Nate Doss. I know he's looking to get back on track. He's had a somewhat stale past few holes. And Cale, he's looking at about 25, maybe 27 feet.
Dead center for Cale, and that's 3 birdies, and Rick's going to clean up his par. And we're going to watch what the women did here very shortly.
All right, first we're going to take a walk over to hole number 11.
Not all fairways finish left, and we can't all throw with pro power. So Vibram has designed an understable distance driver that is perfect for beginners or advanced players looking for amazing anhyzer finishes. Introducing the Unlace from Vibram. Durability, grip, performance.
Hey guys, this is Leiviska from St. Paul, Minnesota. We're out here at the Brewster Ridge course, the more wooded of the two. Thanks for following yesterday. Hopefully we can have another good one today. This one is a little more technical. I throw one driver on the whole course, my new yellow X3, nice and straight. Throw it out about 4 holes. And then pretty much every other hole out there, I'm going to throw my M4. Nice and tight lines out there. Got a couple that I got worked in. Hopefully they'll be flying true. And I suppose there are a few putter shots out there with my PA3. Hopefully this thing's getting up and down for me and going in the basket. And hopefully we can put on a good show for you guys today. Enjoy. Thanks.
And welcome back, everyone. I see an outstretched big germ here on the chase card, throwing a forehand flick out and around with a very overstable disc and putting himself right next to the pin. That was I guess I'd go ahead and call that a pro level shot.
Yeah, Germ demonstrating that nice forehand touch, this time with the overstable disc, as Terry said. Looks like Grady's shoe just in front of where Germ is, but he does have a tree. He's going patent pending. He's got a pretty clean look at the basket from here. He's probably going to be looking to come in from the right to the left.
Now, the last few weeks, Dana, we've heard more and more about Grady's shoe. Sometimes we say, you know, someone may not be a household name, but when you're talking about him just about every weekend, that's how things change. What do we know about Grady?
Grady's from North Carolina. He's Discmania sponsored. He got in with Discmania through the Combine last year, and he's having himself a heck of a year. He's got his rating up over 1,000. I believe he went 1060 plus over the first 2 rounds. I haven't had a chance to check what he's doing today, but that was a great upshot with a nice little scoot up to the bucket.
And we're here on hole number 12, which is a very, very demanding par 4. As we've seen on so many other holes, it is crucial that you hit the fairway, and then even after you've landed, you want to make sure you don't get an unfortunate kick, skip, or bounce or roll away, because being in the fairway is very rewarding here on hole number 12. And I think we're going to see a lot of that. Things tighten up even more on the back, and the holes get a little bit longer. They're going to be challenged out here on the back of this Brewster Ridge course.
Yeah, most definitely. This is one of those holes where you're going to see a lot of different creativity off the tee. You'll see some forehands, some mid-ranges, and see some players pulling out drivers trying to get way down there. But the key for the right-hand players to get a little bit of turn out of their disc, and what you're going to see is a lot of them hyzer out too soon, because this is a severely downhill hole, so you have to crank on it even with your understable disc just a little bit more. But the key here is getting as far down the fairway as you can, and then from there seeing what you can do.
Someone like Ricky Wysocki, and I guess maybe this may be somewhat redundant in that Wysocki has so many tools, but when you have such an accurate backhand and forehand, this is where it can really shine, because whatever position he puts himself in, he's going to have an advantage for being able to attack the green or finding himself back out on the fairway. This is a hole where you just really maybe pulling out all of the stops or all of the tools in your toolbox.
Yeah, more often than not, even if you are in the fairway, you're going to have to find yourself maybe a little bit out of your comfort zone and throw in a lean-out shot with the forehand, something like Rick does with his putters oh so well. But it looks like they've been given the green light. Let's see what they can do.
Doss and Leiviska carting the birdies on the previous hole. Kale will be throwing first. Typically, Kale's mom and family are back home in Minnesota watching us on Smashbox. They're avid viewers and supporters. Thank you guys so much. However, they're doing the real deal today. They are here in person walking along, watching Kale as Kale hits the right side of the fairway. I would go as far as saying that getting at least to the red and white tee, which isn't too far from where we're currently standing, is crucial here. Because if you do not make it past the first bend, you may have to fight out just to find the fairway after that. And this is a great shot coming in. And look at that as it's piping all the way down the fairway. I believe that was, in fact, Michael Joe. I may have neglected that he had birdied on the previous hole as well. So Michael Joe with a great shot. Nate Doss third to tee. Well, more than a few hundred feet. I'm guessing he's got the TI Buzz in his hands.
And good call with the TI Buzz. He turns it a little bit and finds himself on the right side of the fairway. He's going to have a tough up and down for birdie, but it's not out of the question.
I think we may see a little forehand out of Nate Doss here on the approach shot. He's got an alley, and he should be able to get up and down from there, but I think it's going to involve a little bit of trickery. And Wysocki's is coming in hot and nearly catches one of our spectators. Let's see how the women did earlier on Fox Run Meadows this morning.
And if we remember back, all of the ladies birdied hole 10. We're moving on to hole 11, the 575-foot par 4. OB left and right. You want to get as far down the fairway and then There's a little gap in those trees way down there, and you need to go left to right down into the green. And Paige Pierce throws an amazing bomb. She will have a great look at turning that corner and maybe getting down in there for a birdie, which would be absolutely amazing on this hole. Paige Pierce set up for the birdie shot. Catrina Allen throws a nice big shot as well. Sarah Hokom puts herself right around the top of the hill. She'll have an easy up and down for the par. And Paige Pierce, turn, baby, turn. She gets that well down in there, and she is going to have a very good look at birdie. Here's Val Jenkins' third shot. She lays it under for the easy par. Paige Pierce for birdie. Count it. She's 2 birds in a row.
Dana, we're seeing that Cale has a little bit of decision making to do here. No easy position to be. Making it to that short tee at least gives you a few more options, but he's got some work to do.
Yeah, he's definitely, what he wants to do here is cover as much ground as possible. And he did not do that. He hasn't quite made it to us or Nate Dawson's drive, and he's still off the fairway. He did make it to that red and white tee that you mentioned earlier, but he's off to the side. He's most likely looking at bogey or worse from there.
He has some work to do. In fact, we're directly would be in his line possibly, so we're going to move to the other side as we're watching the gallery and the crowd come down.
Over that wall?
No. Just short of it.
Short of it, over here. Okay.
Cool. And Cale goes to one knee. He's really got to be concerned about the angle, because if that hyzers out, it could carry wide left. However, looks like some trees slowed it down for him. And he's still figuratively and literally not out of the woods yet here, Dana.
Yeah, he did get lucky that he found himself on this little service road that is on the left side of the fairway. Although there is a relatively clear gap, he does have to pipe his next shot and then navigate the trees that are short of the basket. Nate is lining up, or I should say, checking out his options here. I would say he's going to go with a backhand flex shot of sorts.
He may keep that understable TI buzz in his hands. A great shot by Nate. He's hoping for that to just finish. It even checks up a little bit for him. That was a pro-level shot as well, and one that may turn out looking at a birdie opportunity still.
Yeah, it looks like he's about pin high right inside the circle or just on top of it. And we're still walking. We haven't got to Rick's drive. We haven't got to MJ's drive. These are 2 great drives. It makes the hole a heck of a lot easier when you only have about 150 on your second shot.
And Rick is really concentrating on that backhand follow through.
Yeah, Rick.
And that's going to pay off. A little plinko off the right side tree. And Michael and Joe with a huge drive. And it looks like he's even been rewarded with a very narrow gap all the way to the basket. If anyone knows about hitting gaps, it's MJ.
Yeah, I'd almost say he prefers a little gap to hit versus a wide open shot. Let's see what he can do with this banger here.
And that is about as good as you could play this hole. MJ looking to card a birdie, possibly even taking a stroke or 2 on a fellow card mate in Cale. See, Kale's picked up a caddy for the day, none other than DG Mike Fierke. That guy got better looking since last year.
Gosh damn, he's handsome.
And Kale trying to get done with the hole by throwing it in from long range. As we look at Doss at 29 under par, Wysocki one back at 28. Leiviska and Johannsen currently at 27. That's going to change by the time we're done with this challenging par 4.
Yep. MJ is definitely taking 2 from Kale here, as he is under the bucket for the birdie. Nate Doss has got about 25 feet to go.
And scrambling for a birdie is a good way to do it here. I almost called that a par. I know he's working hard for it.
Great putt by Nate there. A lot of crowd movement. We got the camera crews. It was a downhill grade, clean look. Cashed it in. Same as Rick. Rick's wasn't all but a tap in, but nonetheless, great birdie.
Seeing 3 birdies and the bogey on this card. Still, overall, for the average is very impressive. We've got a brief downhill walk. We'll get back to you after a word from our sponsors at Smugglers Notch Resort. And welcome back, everyone. We are here on hole number 12, waiting for the gallery of both the chase and lead card to get into position. And Ricky Wysocki moving down the fairway, taking a look, seeing where everyone's at. Dana blessed with another gorgeous day out here at Smugglers Notch Resort. I'm not sure if you knew this, but rated the #1 family resort destination in the country for like 20,000 years running.
I did know that, and I've actually brought my family out here, and they have great family kids programs. So if mom and dad want to go out and do a hike or do some things that aren't so kid friendly, the service here is tremendous. They feed them great food, have activities, no matter what the age, and they also have babysitting services at night, and we took advantage of that when we were here.
Oh, that's cute. A little date night for Dynamite and I presume your wife Ashley. So it sounds like a good time. Everyone should make sure they come out and enjoy it. And we'll be here again for the 2018 PDGA Professional World Championships, which will be taking place next September. It'll be one of the latest World Championships to date in terms of what month it's in. But that gives someone like Ricky Wysocki a little extra time to soak it in. He got it in an early month, way back in June, and now he'll carry that all the way through till September. That might be the longest single-year rain we've ever had.
It very well may be, and what that's going to do next year is players are going to want to really game plan their touring season to make sure they don't burn out too early in the season. Because come this time of year, after you played maybe 10, 15 to 18 tournaments, traveling all over the world, you kind of wore out, the body's beat up, but yeah, next year it's definitely going to be something they're going to have to keep into consideration.
We've got a great battle taking place here. Nate Doss started the day with a 3-stroke advantage on the very first hole, extended that to 4 strokes. However, the gap has been tightened throughout the first 11 holes today. We'll also check in and see who else has been throwing hot on the Brewster Ridge course. If I go out to UDisc Live, I see that Nate Sexton continues to shoot very well. He's at 9 under through 13. We're also seeing that Steve Brinster and Zach Melton are at 8 under through 14. Weston Isaacs at 9 under. And Dana, you mentioned earlier you played with Simon Lizotte, who shot 10 under and even had a little bit of a hiccup on hole 15.
Yeah, he kind of caught himself a bad break, got a bad kick, and then actually got spit out on the putt and took his only bogey of the round there.
And Michael Joe's on the tee. Looks to be about 45 feet from the pin after hitting a tree. Nate's is closer to the right side, gets a little redirection off the tree, and that may result in a birdie. We'll see. Nate and the crowd loving it up here on the tee. Great shot by Wysocki. Kale looking to get back on the train after the bogey on the previous hole. And a near perfect drive. Might be just a bit long. Let's see how the women did earlier on hole 12.
We advance to hole 12. Sarah Hokom still leads by 4. Hole 12 is a gettable birdie, but you've got to clear the water. 350 feet to clear the water. And Paige Pierce is up first, and Paige Pierce says, I want the CTP 7 feet away. A great shot by Paige Pierce. That's going to be 3 birdies in a row for her. And Valarie Jenkins says, let's measure. I want the CTP. Catrina Allen puts it out way right, fades back left, just in front. I don't know who's going to have the CTP. Sarah Hokom throwing the forehand, wide left, hooks back right, pins it. She hit the front cage. An amazing shot. Call it 4 birdies here on hole 12. Another star frame, just like hole 10. Back to you, Terry.
Nate's is closer to the right side, gets a little redirection off the tree, and that may result in a the ringer finds the bottom of the basket. Great birdie here by Michael Joe.
Impressive stuff from MJ on the putting green there. That's a couple putts in a row outside of the circle, aside from that drop-in birdie on the previous hole. Looks like Ricky's right on top of the circle here, coming back at the crowd.
And Wysocki doing what he does best. And Cale has the tiniest tree branch. Dana, pick your jaw up. How did that get in?
Yeah, that was a good catch by the basket. Kind of a misfire by Cale. Nate from just inside of him, probably about 17, 18 feet here.
And there you have it. 4 drives, 4 putts. That's another star frame by our lead card. We'll be back with you after a short walk to the tee of 13.
For looks, for life, for length.
And welcome back here to hole number 13. We've again caught up with our chase card. A moment ago I saw someone attempting a putt. I couldn't quite tell from where we were standing, Dana, but this again is a very challenging par 4 where finding the fairway is very crucial.
Most definitely. The best way to play this hole for a right-handed player is a forehand shot. If you have to throw a right-hand backhand shot, it is very, very touchy. You got to hit a gap and then get some late turn out of your disc to even sniff a birdie. So for most of I'm going to assume half of our lead card is going to be throwing forehand shots. I'm not sure what Doss is going to do. Cale, of course, will be going backhand. So it's definitely one of the harder tee shots here to get into place for a birdie.
And you can usually count on both Cale and MJ for a backhand tee shots, as you were alluding to. We just watched Grady Shue make his putt. Dana, I know I've been here for a couple of years. Has this pin been pushed back a few feet this year?
Yeah, this has been pushed up into the tunnel a little bit more, kind of solidifying it as a better and tougher par 4. That second shot, you really have to pipe it, throw a straight line shot versus anything left or right. It's you're going to see a lot of putters, and if anyone gets caught up early, that's when you'll see a mid-range come flying in there, but very tight around the green.
Eric Oakley is tapping in on the green. Looks like Big Germ has about 10 feet, and he'll be cleaning up. And with that, I think our lead card will get into position and get ready to throw their tee shots. Solid gallery out here taking in the action on a gorgeous Friday afternoon in Vermont. I'm expecting a very large crowd out here tomorrow, Dana. We also have the amateur competitors that are going to be competing in the Green Mountain Championships. I'm sure come afternoon they'll make sure to join us here on the lead card.
Yeah, or if we have another nice day, maybe go swimming. I almost went swimming But here I am with you, watching MJ. He did turn it a little bit too early, but his disc did drop into the fairway. We've got Nate Doss lining up the forehand here.
And Doss seems to keep it right and comes right down the center of the fairway. And hopefully that sits down. It's rolling. I think it's going to lose steam any second now. And Dana, if you were to take a driver and say, I'd like to place it somewhere on the fairway, I think that's about where you'd set it down.
Most definitely. That's going to be a pretty routine upshot for Nate and his challenger. Ricky, not quite as lucky, but Rick, you know, he does Rick things, so I see a lean out forehand from there. He could still get a birdie, no doubt. Looks like Cale is going with a putter off the tee versus his M4. Yep, he goes inside out with the PA4, and that's beautiful.
All right, the women are still over at Fox Run Meadows. Let's check in with them now.
We advance to hole 13. Sarah Hokom's lead is still 4 over Jessica Weiss, who's moving up from the chase card. Hole 13 is a 515-foot par 4 that Paige Pierce wants to drive. An amazing shot. She will have about 50 to 60 feet for eagle. Catrina Allen also puts it out there. She'll have an easy up and down for the birdie. This is Sarah Hokom's second shot. Puts it at the base. A nice shot by Sarah Hokom and Valarie Jenkins. That drifts off a little left. You want to get very close on these elevated baskets. Paige Pierce running for the eagle. Might as well give it a go. A great shot. And Catrina Allen cards the birdie. And let's see if Valarie Jenkins can card the birdie. Count it. A very good frame for the ladies. We are moving on to hole 14.
Michael Joe has a standstill. It looks like it's tracking toward the very narrow tunnel. It's tough to see just how far it got in, but you'll have a look from there, Dana.
Yeah, that was it was a little high, caught some cabbage flying into the mouth of the green, but I believe that got all the way up close to the basket. So great shot from MJ with the standstill. Looks like Rick is going to opt for the lean out to his right with the forehand, or potentially to the left with the hyzer flip backhand. But with that, he's going to have to worry about smacking his hand. So a couple options for Rick here.
Rick will do anything for a birdie. As you said, Dana, this step out forehand that looks like it's trying to filter through the trees. If it does anything like MJ's, he'd be very happy with the result. However, it looks like it was caught up.
Yeah, he was coming in very nice to the green, but it did hit and it rolled back into the left. Definitely not what MJ's disc did. So Rick he's still going to have a look at putt, probably inside of circle 2 and circle 1. And Cale going right up the center. He does catch edge. He would have loved for that just to kind of skip forward rather than catching the edge that it did. He should have a putt from there. And Wysocki is
putting together a phenomenal round here. Through 12 holes, he has 9 birdies.
Speaking of birdies, Nate Doss knocks it off the pin. He's going to have about 12 to 15 for a birdie right there, while Rick does have some a little bit of work to do to continue that torrid pace he's got going today.
And Kale has to straddle from just outside circle's edge. Unfortunately, just a few inches short. Ricky from about the same distance. And Ricky maintaining that pace. The putter is on today, Dana.
Yep, he was a little bit closer than it looked. I think that cut rolled back, might have caught a tree and kept him right on top of the circle. Here's Doss cleaning up from about 12 feet.
Dana, we saw during the opening round that that Wysocki, had stalled out. He was at 7 under. He had taken a handful of pars in a row, and then he went 16, 17, and 18 to birdie out and find himself at 10. Today, he's on a faster pace. We'll see if he has just as strong of a finish. We'll be back in a moment. Nate Doss flirting with that right side. Looks like it's going to come out and catch him with his Z Predator. And Ricky not pleased with his release, however, it looks like he gets a kick toward the pin. And Cale mentioned he rarely throws a driver, but when he does, it's on the uphill on 14. We'll be back after watching the women on the other course.
On this long Fox Run course, Sarah Hokom is impressing me, maintaining and even increasing her lead, which is now 5 over Catrina Allen, who sits in second. We go to hole 14, 350 feet, slightly downhill. You just want to tuck it in left. Paige Pierce had a very nice drive. You want to go over the crest of that hill and then tuck in as far left as you can. Valarie Jenkins with a nice skip has about 35 feet for birdie. Tucked left a little bit more. Catrina Allen, a very nice shot as well. And Sarah Hokom with a forehand. That's a very tough forehand shot. She gets into the woods, hits a late tree. She has this for her second shot. She'll be carding the easy par. And Valarie Jenkins for birdie. Very nicely done. Valarie Jenkins cards the birdie, as do Catrina and Paige. We are moving on to hole 15.
Nate trying to rekindle a little of that putting magic we saw him with at the other course yesterday. And MJ saving par the hard way from 38 feet after throwing an approach shot, a forehand that caught a tree no more than 30 feet in front of him. So chopped himself down the fairway, but either way he's going to walk away with a 3 here, Dana.
Yep, and most likely walking away with a 2 here is Rick. He's about 18 feet. A little high in the chains, but dead center. Count it.
I believe that will momentarily tie up Ricky Wysocki along with Nate Doss. Nate, however, looking to take a 3. Cale's going to tap in for the birdie 2. And that will bring, like I said, Wysocki and Doss all tied up at 32 under par. We'll be back in a moment after a word from our sponsors. Kale going with a backhand, hoping that stays clean, cleaning out a few of the spectators, and gets a skip. Kale likes it.
Yep, that's his X3 that he just put in his bag recently. Great shot by Kale. MJ cranking on his Undertaker. He needs to flip up just a little bit and get down to the ground. He should be on the fat side of the green looking at a birdie putt.
Yeah, Doss going with a Z Predator here. And he's carrying left toward the basket. It's going to be a little bit long, but a great shot by Nate Doss.
We advance to hole 15, a very long par 3. The disc is tucked into those woods. You want to fly over that OB and then hang a left. You can see the basket right there. Paige Pierce actually throws it past the pin, has about 10 feet coming back. That's going to be her 5th birdie in a row. Scratch that, 6th birdie in a row. Valarie Jenkins clears the OB. She'll have an up and down for par. Catrina Allen hangs that out and a little low. That does not come back in bounds. She goes out of bounds on her drive. A tough break for Catrina, who'd been playing very well this round. And Sarah Hokom, who's leading the tournament and is back of the box, puts it up for an easy up and down for par. Katrina's 3rd shot, she'll have that left for bogey. Sarah Hokom puts it up for the par, and Catrina Allen for bogey. That is a very tough double bogey for Catrina Allen, who falls to 3rd.
Dana, I'm going to have to go ahead and call that a slight blemish here on what is an otherwise very, very solid Ricky Wysocki round. Again, it's still a solid round, but definitely a little bit of a blemish here on hole 15. This one can come out and bite you.
Yeah, definitely. Having it be an island puts a lot of pressure on that tee shot. You really got to pipe something. We saw Rick go with the forehand. It kind of goes against the grain of what most right-hand players are going to throw unless they're not feeling confident with their backhand, because it really is a right-hand backhand type of shot. And looks like MJ just barely stayed inside, safe on the rock wall. He's just outside circle 1.
MJ trying to go up and over. A little bit of shrubbery between him and the basket. Kale's just 1 step inside the circle. Little extra body pump fake. Is that for the crowd at home? Trying to get them into it?
Yep, that one was for Victoria back home. A little hip thrust. Here we go. We got Nate Doss coming back at the crowd. About 22 feet. And I love it. The focus from Nate Doss on the putting green. I feel like the putting has hurt him over the years, but today, this weekend, he is really focused on the green. And aside from a blemish yesterday on 18, he's putting great.
We're moving on with a short walk over to hole 16. And welcome back here to hole number 16, measuring in at 400 feet downhill and to the right. Cale will be first at tee after carding the birdie on 15. Looks like he's going with his blue M4, which is his flippier M4s. The main goal here, if you're throwing right hand and backhand, is to either come inside of the tree or on the outside of the tree, and that's the one about 300 feet down the fairway. He's got a really good line on this. Playing for a little bit of a skip up toward the pin. Seems to be just a bit short. Doss is going with a forehand here. Nate saws it off a little bit, catches a tree. He's going to have a little bit of work to do from there. And much like Cale's, MJ's taking the inside gap with his banger. He gets banged up by a few trees. He's going to be a little short. And he just wants to stay off that tree you mentioned. He gets a kick off one of the straggler branches and finishes left. The women are wrapping up their round. Let's check in with them on 16 on the other course.
Hole 16, a 570-foot uphill par 4. A very difficult hole if you're trying to card the 2, obviously. Paige Pierce throws her drive OB. It is hard to get that disc up high enough so it hooks off to the left, which Valarie Jenkins does very well. She's left with about 250 to the pin. Sarah Hokom, as a forehand thrower, has an advantage here. She puts that over the fairway and it hooks back to the right. Almost the same distance as Valarie. Here's Valarie's second shot. Not quite enough distance for the easy birdie, but she'll have a putt at birdie, that is for sure. And Catrina Allen, that looks like big distance, and she will have a nice putt for birdie. Here's Paige Pierce's putt for par after trying to... Well, that's a par save that went awry after going OB, and Valarie Jenkins misses her birdie. Catrina Allen and Sarah Hokom card the only birdies. We are moving on.
And good upshot from Nate there. He's going to be tapping in for par. After getting a couple strokes on Rick, he's not going to be too happy with that, but Ricky has left himself with a pretty long putt, but definitely within the Raptor leg range. So let's see what Rick can do. I believe MJ up first. He's got a pretty clean look here at the bucket. Let's see if he can keep bringing them in. And MJ is right around circle 2 edge. One thing I'd like to talk about on hole 16 is that, of course, everyone's going for the birdie. If you get all the way through, you may have a look at it, but it's very easy to turn a birdie attempt or a par attempt into a bogey out here. There's a lot of random trees, and you really want to make sure you find yourself in one of the alleys. Yeah, most definitely. There is a little bit of elevation. Uh-oh. Cale gets a nice drop, but there's a bunch of bumps, a little bit of elevation, so it is a relatively flat but fast green, and as you said, a lot of trees, so a missed putt can mean some trouble on your comebacker. If I were to pick a hole and
compare this one to any other course, you could say this is kind of like De La Viega in the sense that one root, one stump, or one kickoff of a tree could certainly punish you by 1 or 2 extra strokes. And for the first time this weekend, I watched Ricky Wysocki draw metal and have it not go into the basket. It is a rare sighting. And Ricky will not pick up any strokes. He's going to remain 2 back of Doss. In fact, everyone on this lead card not able to convert. As I said, birdies are great, but you have to make sure you don't put yourself in position to take the bogey. As MJ cleans up.
Yeah, this is one of those holes where there's a lot of trees in the way, and the good shots and the lucky shots, it's hard to tell the difference sometimes between the two.
Watching the group clear out, and I believe we're going to have a little bit of a backup on the next hole. Stay tuned. You're watching live disc golf right here on the Disc Golf Pro Tour from the Green Mountain Championships.
Disc golf is in the air. Join the excitement at pdga.com.
G'day, my name's Chris. I'm here today to tell you a little bit about our disc stacks. They're disc pants manufactured specifically for disc golf. They basically have 4-way stretch, water repellent material. They have a towel attachment pocket in the front side of each pair of pants. They have zip back pockets. They have enough belt loops to tie you up, and you got reflectors, so for those of you riding to the course on your bike, you'll be safe in the dude pants. We're predicting these pants are going to become legendary. Get yourself some.
Hey there everybody, and a special shout out to our Disc Golf Pro Tour Silly Pint patrons. You guys are what makes this whole thing happen. So, a big shout out to each of you. We now have 8 Silly Pint patrons. Thank you all. I'm going to say thanks to each of them right now. Patrick Yo, this Silly Pint is for you, and it's full of nice ice cold water. David Jovino, this Silly Pint is for you. GMC, presented by Discraft. Tobin Brennard, thank you very much. This Silly Pint is for you. Got the number 2 for our 2nd season. GMC, because that's where we are. Thank you, Tobin. Mike Cullerton, this Silly Pint is for you. Thank you very much. Alan Risley, Pro Tour symbol, GMC symbol, this Silly Pint was specially made for you. Brian Megason, thank you very much for supporting the Pro Tour. This Silly Pint is for you. And if you'd like to support the Pro Tour, you can go to patreon.com/DGPT. Oh, we got 2 more. Daniel Reynoso, thank you very much for supporting the Pro Tour and for helping out with live scoring a ton last year. You were a good man. And last but certainly not least, Tom Schneider of ShopTom.com. Thank you, Tom, for all of the consistent support. I look forward to saying your name again next year at the next month at the Tour Championships. You guys have a great day, and we'll see you next time.
And welcome back to hole number 17. We've again caught up with our chase card. And joining me is our Disc Golf Pro Tour Director, Steve Dodge. Steve, thanks to UDisc Live, we're able to keep track of all the stats and scores. Everyone at home, thanks to your brilliant editing and commentary, is also following along with the women's action. And without ruining the last two holes, tell us what you've seen so far on the women's side of things this week.
What I've seen is Sarah Hokom playing very, very well, even on the open Fox Run course. You would theoretically expect Paige to have an advantage over there because of her distance, maybe Catrina Allen as well. But Sarah's been playing very well. She's got good distance, great control. She's hitting her putts. As everybody saw earlier on holes 10 and 12, the women had star frames. It was very, very exciting. I think it was hole 12 where Sarah actually hit the basket on their drive. Beautiful shot.
So it sounds like some great golf. We're also, like I said, watching a little bit of action from the chase card. The chase card not making any moves at the moment in terms of catching up. I'm seeing in 5th place, a tie right now, Nate Sexton, who's moved up 6 spots today alone, shooting 11 under through hole 17 thus far. And Paul Ulibarri also making a move. He is at 8 under through 17. And Nate Sexton has officially just completed, so he's done with his round in 11 under, just a few strokes off the course record. Zach Melton moved up 5 spots today, shooting 11 under. Weston Isaacs moving up 7 spots, shooting an 11 under. So some really solid scores. We talked with Dana earlier. He played with Simon Lizotte, who shot a 10 under par, moving up 14 spots. And we're live with our leader card, Kale Leiviska, on the tee. And Kales is coming toward us where we are standing in the fairway just past the creek that we saw the other day. Now, players are hoping to get all the way to the short tee pad that's directly in front of us. Steve and I are standing just past a white tee, and a perfectly thrown drive would get at least to that tee or beyond.
Yeah, I love the way this course forces you to shape shots. Nate gets that to the bridge. It gets a nice kick. And a very good dance by Rick.
And our cameraman, Rick, getting some air there. I did see a video of him in 8th grade, some slow motion basketball dunks, and I think he was emulating some major airtime there.
That looked more like an another one bites the dust kind of dance to me. Michael Johannsen gets around the corner, very well placed. He's going to have a great look. One interesting thing, you look at where Kale landed. He is off right behind a batch of about 7 or 8 trees, and then, yeah, he basically has no shot.
And Ricky's going to struggle as well from there. We've got the women on 17. We'll be back in a moment.
And that brings us to hole 17. Sarah Hokom in the lead by 5. This is a 400-foot right-to-left downhill hole. It is absolutely reachable. Sarah Hokom chooses to throw a overhand roller. She is going for the 3. She just wanted to make sure to keep that inbounds. She's got a 5-stroke lead. I can't question that play at all. And this disc lands beautifully inbounds. A great throw by Catrina Allen. She's got about 35 feet coming back for the birdie. Valarie Jenkins throws, and that does not come back. She is actually out of bounds on hole 17, losing ground right at the end of the round. Paige Pierce trying to come back from that. She had the 6 birds in a row. She'd like to get back on the birdie train. Sarah Hokom lays it under the base for the par. Valarie Jenkins lays it under the base for the bogey. Paige Pierce. We are moving on to hole 8.
And Ricky Wysocki had actually stepped on his disc in throwing that shot. Well, someone on his card certainly could have called for a foot fault. However, Ricky hits the tree no more than 30 feet in front of him and falls down into a casual creek bed. It will be wet down there, but that is not in out-of-bounds territory.
Yeah, he's got about 300 to go. He's got his putter. He can get up there for the par, but it's going to take a really great shot. Good looking shot by Ricky, but that's not going to get near the basket. And as good of a putter as he is, he's got a long ways to go still. Yeah, he needed the nose up a little bit on that up shot. Didn't happen. He's going to have to make some magic happen from way downtown through a low-hanging branch. Speaking of making magic happen, Cale left himself on the right side of the fairway. It doesn't appear like he has all that great of an option to get himself up towards the basket. He's reaching in the bag that DG Mike is holding. We'll see if he's got a trick up his sleeve or if he's just going to pitch himself up there for the easy par. Cale currently 4 off the pace of Nate Doss, sitting in 4th place overall. And folks, you are more likely to see Sasquatch in the woods than to see Cale Leiviska throw a forehand shot, and it was executed perfectly. You know he's in a world of hurt if he's throwing a forehand. It's just simply not a shot he throws. Yeah, he's so good at the backhand, whether it's throwing it inside out, flat, nose up, whatever it might be, but it did look like he threw a great shot. It got a little action off the ground, skipped right, hopefully not too far into the woods. We're coming up to Nate Doss. He's weighing out his options, seeing how he can get up there for the birdie. You know he's wanting to capitalize with Rick certainly facing a bogey, so Nate's likely going to be picking up 1, and you know he's hoping to pick up 2, but this is going to be a tough shot to get the power on the disc. It's kind of an awkward stance. He's got his beat-up Challenger in his hand, so he's going to want a little left to right flight with the nose up and have it check into that well-guarded basket. And as you're saying, generating power while standing outreached as he was is very difficult to do. And that was a very well executed shot. Again, to generate power while standing with your body outstretched like that is a task in itself, and to throw it accurately. Yeah, most definitely. And how he kept the disc in the air was getting that nose up with the beat up disc. MJ hanging out his disc a little too wide, fights through some cabbage. He's inside the circle, but Nate did miss his shot, his line a little bit, but he scooted through the trees, and he's got a drop-in birdie from there. And MJ, who had a phenomenal drive, doesn't get quite as close as one might expect. He's going to have a little bit more work to do in terms of getting up and down, taking that birdie. But right now, looking at Doss at 33, Wysocki currently at 31, Johannsen at 30, Leiviska at 29. And this is, as of right now, this is your same leader card, unless someone makes a push from that second card, which is 1 hole left to play. This may be your same leader card tomorrow. Yeah, it looks like Paul Ulibarri is next up at 26 under par with Nate Sexton. Nate Sexton did fire off. And look at Cale making it look easy there. That's one way to get up and down. Yeah, and he did. That was not his normal putter. He went with his PA4, so he had to do some sort of floaty Anheuser type putt from the woods. Tremendous shot. Rick looking to follow suit. Oh, what are we seeing here? Holy cow! Sorry as we blow out the speakers here, but back-to-back magic here on, wow, hole number 17. Not going down without a fight. Yeah, and Ricky really had to put that up high and wide right and trust that it would come back in, and it does just that. And great job by Rick to keep the bleeding to a minimum. He's going to take the par while Doss taps in here for birdie. Wow, some late action magic. Just 1 to play. We'll be back in a moment after a word from our sponsors. From that second card, which is 1 hole left to play. This may be your same leader card tomorrow. Yeah, it looks like Paul Ulibarri is next up at 26 under par with Nate Sexton. Nate Sexton did fire off.
And look at Kale.
Tremendous shot. Rick looking to follow suit.
Oh, what are we seeing here? Holy cow. Kale going straight up the right side gap. Looking for that to finish out. He should have a good look at birdie from there. Nate following suit. He may catch it. No, he does not. And that's going to find himself right next to the basket. Doss hoping to finish off strong with a birdie. MJ's is left side fairway, finishing hard left. And Ricky opts for the backhand. Is that going to get through? The women finished out their round earlier today.
And we close on the daunting hole 18, over 600 feet, par 4, lined by OB on both sides. Paige Pierce plays with the OB. She knows that disc is going to flex back and boing! She is inbounds and has a pretty good look at the up and down, actually for a chance at birdie. Valarie Jenkins puts out a laser beam. That's a great shot, hyzering nicely to the left. She will also have a look, but around the tree. Sarah Hokom, second shot. Through the trees, skipping to the right. She's got about 30 feet for the birdie. Catrina Allen, she can walk that disc right like she did, but it does not. It fades out. She has a pretty long look for the birdie. Valarie Jenkins, second shot. That's a very nice turn over the basket. She's about 20 feet past for the 3, which is a birdie. And Paige Pierce puts it 15 feet away. Sarah Hokom for birdie. Oh, that disc rolls to about 12 feet away for the... Sarah Hokom closes with a bogey, losing 1 or 2 strokes to the field, setting us up for an exciting final day. Back to you, Terry.
Dana, I think these guys are just getting warmed up as Michael Joe ends with a great straddle birdie putt.
Great putt from MJ. Another one outside circle 1 for him.
Woo!
Excuse me, Kale, that one tried to fight through the Mach X basket, but sits down for the birdie. And we've got a star frame. Finish it out here.
Ricky taps in, as does Nate Doss. What a round, what a finish by these guys. Nate Doss and the rest of the crowd are going to clear out. We see Nate and Cale, who have played the last couple of rounds together. MJ also. I think we're going to see all four of these gentlemen tomorrow on our lead card. It has been one heck of a day. Dana, we're going to go ahead and double check with our UDisc stats as they're going to add up their scorecards and get those officially tabulated and turned in. Wow, lots of birdies to finish out there. Very impressive. I'm going to go ahead and take a quick look. We've got Nate Doss sitting at 35 under par. He opened the day with a 3-stroke advantage and then closed the day again with a 3-stroke advantage. At one point it was up to 4, and at another point I believe he was all knotted up. So it looks like a really strong finish by Doss. He's at 35. We've got Michael Joe and Ricky Wysocki both at 32, and then rounding out your lead card is Cale Leiviska at 31, and they have some distance on them. Let's talk about that. 5 strokes before Paul Ulibarri from the second card catches up. These four seem to be pulling away, and Doss even 3 above second and third.
Yeah, that's got to be the story here on the lead card, is Doss maintaining that 3-stroke lead. Wysocki was having a tremendous round, kind of missed a few there at the end, although he did show us some fireworks on hole 17, saving the par. Nate Doss just continues to impress this weekend.
It's been great to see. Of course, we have to thank everyone that's been making this possible. Jeff Spring, your tournament director, as well as my co-commentator throughout the beginning of the round, Steve Dodge, doing the commentary along with editing together the women's footage. Thank you to Chad Inman, who was not only catch cam this afternoon, but also catching the women's footage earlier today. Thank you so much for all you guys. Rick Hushane on the camera here on the throw. Dynamite, our co-commentator here as the afternoon rounded out. And then, of course, Johnny V and Gary to the O back at home. It's been one heck of a week. We are 3/4 of the way through this tournament. Right now, Nate Doss is in the driver's seat, and tomorrow we're going to see if he can finish that off. Sarah Hokom hoping to do the same on the women's side. So for Dana and myself, Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, we'll see you guys tomorrow for our live broadcast as we bring you the final round here at the 2017 Green Mountain Championships presented by Discraft. We'll see you then when you step inside the Smash Box.